All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another great edition of No Love Philly, the podcast dedicated to artists, activists, musicians, comedians, breweries, basically anybody in, around, or passing through the city of brotherly love that makes this place as awesome as it is. This one time we got around an interview with Side Salad from various parts of New York. We talk about this being their first show at the last show of Slime Time Live. Find out, we try to get them hooked up with Maddie K. We find out about some of the lyrics, including sand, fish, and water, talk about the various bassists, and also how it all came together in the first time, them doing it today. We talk a lot about their lyrics, we talk a lot about this being the last show, and we find out a little bit more about the Brooklyn scene in general. So hope you guys enjoy it, and they are up next. Super close into that microphone.
Okay.
Perfect, man.
Check. Hello.
All right, so we're here with Side Salad. Is that the
Side Salad, yeah.
Is that the legit name of the band?
It's as legit as the band itself is, I would say.
We formed this morning when we got to Philadelphia. We had our first rehearsal, figured out the songs, and just played our first set. Side Salad was dubbed by our friend Will.
So where are you all from?
I'm from New Jersey. I currently live upstate New York in the Hudson Valley. And AJ here.
I'm from Rochester, New York originally, but I live in Brooklyn.
All right, cool. How's life in Brooklyn?
Life in Brooklyn's cool. Philly's a nice escape, I guess, or it's kind of similar, but it's good to be close. Yeah, I like Brooklyn. I've lived there for a long time, and rent's expensive, but there's a lot going on, a lot to do. I don't know.
So I'm from Texas, so when I came to Philly, it was kind of nuts for me. It was like out of this world. But I guess when you're from New York or live in Brooklyn, you come here, it's kind of like, oh, this is a nice, slow change of pace.
Yeah, but I'm from upstate New York originally, so it definitely took some getting used to city life. But now I can't get enough, you know.
So you said Side Salad was dubbed by one of your friends. Anybody here vegan, vegetarian?
No, I mean, actually, the story, if you want to know the story. So last weekend, I went down to the city to practice for another show with another band. And part of the funny thing about Side Salad is it's kind of like side project, you know?
Yeah.
So anyway, we were practicing for a different band. And we went to a restaurant, and we just got these sandwiches. And it took actually an hour for them to give us the sandwiches. The Wheelhouse in Brooklyn. And they came with a side salad, but they couldn't even give us a side salad. You know what I mean? Like before the meal came. And then so I Venmo'd my friend Will for the side salad, and then he was like, that'd be a good band name.
So AJ, who's AJ? Which one is AJ?
Yo, hello.
So it's your birthday today, right?
It's going to be my birthday at midnight. I'm turning 25.
Excellent, man.
Yeah.
So you guys' first show is actually at Slime Time Live's last show.
Yes.
Wow.
I also played in a band called Harmony House back in the day that played at the first ever show in the basement. I didn't realize it was the first show until we got back here today, and they told us that was the first show.
So
fond memories.
One of the things that I would say, have you gone to shows here before? Just
Honestly,
to check them out?
No. We've played shows with Trash Boy and seen them a bunch. Like, we're close with them, and they come to Brooklyn a lot. But just the two shows here that we've been to,
right.
First and last.
Well, I was gonna say, as a drummer, I'm not a drummer, but I was gonna ask you as a drummer. One of the things that I appreciate the most when I'm at this particular venue is how crisp the drums always sound in there. Like, I feel like it's like a highlighted piece for sure.
Definitely.
Do you notice that, or is that just a
No,
me
they
thing?
sounded great from behind the kit. I was like, yeah, these sound rocking. They got the acrylic drums. Small room, so I guess that might be part. I don't know, but they sound nice. They're well tuned or something.
Yeah, they always sound super
yeah, man.
crisp in that
they got nice
space,
cymbals
man.
too. I didn't bring anything. I didn't have to bring a damn thing. I just showed up and they sounded great.
That's awesome, man. So the first song sounded kind of like, and I don't really like to compare, but one of the things that it reminded me of was, I don't know why, but the Red Hot Chili Peppers One Hot Minute album. It kind of had that like slow.
Yeah. We were listening to what came on the radio when you were driving down. Snow, yeah. So maybe that was in my head. Yeah, maybe, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So you guys have done a lot of stuff with Trash Boy. They've gone out to Brooklyn. You guys have done anything like that. I'm assuming that you guys know Maddie. Have you guys done anything with Secret Nudist Friends or Yenar?
I don't know them.
Maddie Klosser?
The name sounds familiar. The name sounds familiar, but I'm not off the top of my head familiar.
This guy looks familiar.
Andrew, this is Andrew. He played big hits at Andrew. Oh, he played bass on a couple tracks.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I know Matty. He arranged the Good How Are You Fest.
That's right.
I did a couple of video for them. I think it's a band called Blushes.
Blushed.
Blushed. Yeah, I did some promo photos for them. Have really phenomenal sound. Some girl surf rock stuff there. Those girls really singing their hearts out and just really rocking out. It's a really beautiful thing.
So one of the things here that I noticed is that your band had a couple bass players, and you're one of them. What's the deal with that? Where did that come from?
Yeah, again, it kind of haphazardly not haphazard, but put together at the last minute where, AJ and I decided we're going to go down to Philly and try to put, some of these songs together. And then I picked up Ho in New Brunswick because he's playing drums on Chris's solo
just picked
set.
him up? What do you mean? Like
on the way,
coming with us?
On the way, he needed a ride. And then he's trying to flex his string fingers, so he wanted to play bass on a few tracks. And then Chris at the last minute was like, "Yo, I like that first song. Can I play bass on it?" And him being the musical mastermind that he was, he totally just understood it without me having to explain it to him.
Yeah, that's crazy. I was gonna say it all came together really well. It all came together really, really well. But that was the first time you had played with them particularly. Yeah. Did you guys practice this before?
That was
Yeah, that was actually my first show playing bass ever. So it was actually, one step for man, one large step for mankind.
I second that.
Very strong words.
What's
right,
cool?
for a bass
What's
player.
cool? If I can make a point, if maybe you're picking up on it, is that there's like a neat network of people who are like fluidly sliding in and out of each other's bands. And like I know Chris from high school. Some of these people know this person from college. And so it's like everyone's you'll see is in a couple of different people's bands tonight.
So
We're both going to play with Chris Fortunato later.
yeah, for his solo stuff. Oh, you're just a musical genius, huh? Drums, bass.
No, just can play all of them decently enough, but not great at any of them,
So did you guys? You said you picked him up. When did you guys first rehearse the song that you all played? There's a couple songs that you guys played today.
Let's see. We got to Philly. We left Brooklyn at 9 a.m. We picked Andrew up around 10:30 in New Brunswick. Got to Philly around noon. Started rehearsing. And now it's about the show is at 6. So
Yeah, that's crazy, man. So it just all came together.
Jeff has the songs and they're great, and all we had to do was fill in the blanks, I guess.
So we were talking about a whole bunch of different side projects. What are your other side projects? What do each of you do?
I produce my own music as Tony G. I play with Jeff and our friend Will as Landlord Lance. We have a show tomorrow in Brooklyn. And I mix and produce music for a couple different friends too.
Yeah, I mean I guess my main project is with Landlord Lance. We got a show tomorrow in Brooklyn. But I've got a ton of like half baked side projects again, which is fun. That like Jamie over there, you can't see him, but like I'll play. He'll be on this track and I'll be on that other track with him. And sometimes we don't even know like which band to attribute it to because it's like just different combinations of the same people, permutations.
So it's just like an orgy of music.
Yeah.
People jump in.
Orgy with no sex.
Yeah, only music.
Only music.
Sex to the ears, yes.
That's awesome, man. So you talked about, in your music, what I heard was a lot about sand, fish, water. Where does that come from? It's got definitely a beach vibe to it.
That was an acute observation of yours. I don't know. 2 of the songs are sort of about. I don't know. I've been really into like the idea of amphibians and evolving and like being some sea creature and then like crawling out into the sand. So I think that's something that was on my mind. So yeah, sand, water, lizards, fish,
fucking lizard people,
swamps.
Chris Fortunato, man.
Chris was in the band. Chris can speak.
He can. He jammed out one bass track and then started filming.
Yeah, we're a very versatile band here, Side Salad. Jeff just writes parts that like I think flow really well and are like super intuitive, like to my musical brain, So like when Jeff showed me the song, I only listened to it like a couple of times, and like you know, I think I just got on the wavelength. You know, he writes songs that you can get on the wavelength of. You know, that's
Yeah.
what I love about it.
I can't wait to interview you later and talk about all the cool bands that have come through here and how everything just kind of magically happens on the fly. And
Yeah, I mean,
what an awesome experience this place was.
there's a certain magic to this place, that's
For
for sure. We actually went through our Facebook profile and found out that this is our 28th show.
Wow.
Yeah, so this is 28 out of 28 right here tonight.
Well, I'm
We'll talk later.
I
Yeah.
hope so. Yeah, absolutely. So then one of the other part of your lyrics that I noticed was you said, "Baby, I've got 9 lives." And so one of the questions I had is, have you had any near-death experiences?
Oh, Okay, I've got a story for you. It's not about me, but can I tell it? It's about a near-death
100%.
experience. So my grandpa, right? He's 90 years old, and he lives in Florida. And he got home from the airport from an event late at night, and he's driving, and all of a sudden he ends up on the train tracks, not perpendicular, but stuck parallel. And a train is coming toward him, and he's not getting out of a car. And an off-duty police officer was there and pulled him out of the car. And the train eventually stopped in time. And anyway, this intersection in Florida is known locally as Confusion Corner. And that's something we wrote a song about it for Landlord Lance. Yeah, that's something that's been on my mind. Like, you could be 90 years old and almost have a near-death experience that's, like, tragic.
And not health-related.
Yeah. So other than that, I got a concussion once. Well, it wasn't close to death. So I've lived a pretty healthy lifestyle. AJ?
I wouldn't say near death. I was on a plane one time coming home from China, and there was like horrifying turbulence. That's probably the closest I can think of that I know of. Maybe when I was a kid, but no, nothing too serious, thankfully.
Right on. So, are you guys? Do you see this as like a permanent setup? You guys are gonna do other shows in Philly. Are people can expect to see you more?
Hope so. We'll see.
Yeah, as long as wherever this outfit at this house is disbanding, but I'm sure they're gonna keep on putting on shows. So wherever they end up, as long as there's a place for us to play in Philly, I would love to.
Do your side projects ever come through Philly, or do you guys hit up like the tri-state area?
This is my first show in Philly, actually my first time ever playing. And I know AJ's played a few times.
Yeah, we played the one show here. That's it. That's the only time I've. Yeah. With an old band called Harmony House. That's old, and we'll be back someday, but on hiatus. But yeah, that's the only show I've ever played in Philly. Been a couple times for other shows and to see, but hope to play more here. I don't know. We really just play in New York and Brooklyn, and like I've never played anywhere besides Brooklyn and Philly, really, and Rochester, New York.
What's the Brooklyn scene like, man? Like
Very big. Philly seems a little more like closely knit, but Brooklyn's got a lot of incredible talent and really cool people. I like dance music a lot and make dance music, and there's a lot. It's like an incredible community for that. That like not necessarily all cities have, even bigger cities. So I like that about it, but it's definitely intimidating sometimes.
Is it hard to book shows out there? Like, is it hard to book like a bar or a?
It's hard to book a show that you want to book. Maybe you can find shows. There's tons of venues, but sometimes you end up playing like places you don't necessarily love to play, or just like you'll take what you can get. So it's easy to get a show, but it's not necessarily easy to get like a great show with great. I don't know. But you can. If you want to play, you can play. So that's
awesome.
great. Yeah.
So are do you play a lot of basement shows out there, or is it bar shows, or?
More bar and club shows. There are some basement shows, but the basement venues don't tend to last very long. But that's kind of cool. And like there's a DIY venues that are more like full scale venues, I guess, that are still kind of underground.
That's it, huh?
Yeah, but a lot of like bars and clubs. Yeah.
So do you just stay in that little Brooklyn area, or do you go through the other boroughs, or?
Manhattan, but less and less. I don't know. There's less and less small venues in Manhattan. Harmony House was the main band I played with was Harmony House, and we were playing shows like 3 and 4 years ago. And it's even changed since then. I don't know. There's less and less in Manhattan, especially. It's more Brooklyn, so mostly in Brooklyn.
So with like one of the things that I hear all the time about living in New York is like obviously the cost of living is just fucking astronomical, right? Do you think that's pushing artists out of the area?
Definitely.
And if so, where are they moving to?
Philly, I guess. I don't know. Anywhere else. Hudson.
Yeah. I don't know. It's an interesting phenomenon. I'm live in a small place, Hudson Valley, but it's trendy. People come up and there's like a gentrification, phenomenon going on. No place is immune to it. And so at the same time that artists are pushed out by increasing rent, the artists are also in other cases pushing people out. Like in the community where I live, a lot of artists from the city, they're sick of the city, so they come up there and then are pushing out maybe like the more blue collar people. So it's like this weird, convoluted cycle.
So I think I saw this one funny episode of this show called High Maintenance. I don't
Yeah,
know if you-
yeah.
Okay, all right, great.
Yeah.
But where they convince themselves that they want to be out of the city than the burbs, and it's just like hell on earth.
I think I don't know. I avoided. I've never actually lived in New York, so I've I feel like I've avoided it. But if I ever did, then it's probably difficult to leave. So.
That's awesome, man. People want to find out. Do you guys already have music? I know you guid just put this set together. Is there anything recorded?
No, not yet, but hopefully soon. And I'm just gonna say, sidesalad.bandcamp.com. If it's not currently registered as a domain, I will register it within the week. And if not, sidesalad2.bandcamp.com. And I don't know. I know some form of it will continue. I think. No matter the distance between AJ and I.
That's beautiful. Also, Landlord Lance is out there, which we both are part of.
Okay.
Landlord Lance. No D in the land. It's landlord without a D. We're on Spotify. All the and Tony G solo music you can find.
So landlord. The first thing I'm thinking about is like gaming. Is that like
Yeah, it's actually was inspired. It's like my friend and I's band from like high school, and our Congress person there, Leonard Lance, who's still an incumbent. For some reason, that's what it's named after.
All right,
but
cool.
I couldn't even tell you why. Landlord Lance instead.
I thought
of
it was
Leonard
making
Lance.
your landlord less of a D.
No, that's a good. It's kind of like saying landlord, but just slurring. Landlord.
It took me years of knowing and making music with them to realize there was no D. It wasn't landlord. I think everybody has that realization at some point and blows their mind. So that's a nice touch.
So if people want to hear more about you, where do they go do that? Either of your projects or
just
any
come to
of your
Brooklyn,
projects?
come hang out with me. I don't know. 130 Melrose Street. Knock on the door. I don't know. No, I don't know. On the internet. I got a good Twitter. I don't know. Check it out. The fake Tony G.
Yeah, and just landlordlance.bandcamp.com or on Spotify. And we don't play as often as we should, but hopefully we'll have more of a physical presence and an internet presence in the near future.
Awesome, man. Anything else you guys want to add?
No, thank you for taking the time to talk to us. It makes me feel like this thing that came together last minute is, something that has, legs, and I appreciate your interest in it.
Fuck yeah, man. Well, thank you guys very much for your time.
Yeah,
good luck. Hope you guys come to Philly more often. We'll be able to check you out.
So do we. Thank you.
You bet, man.
Thank
Talk to
you,
guys later.
Philadelphia.